Sign protocol is set to launch soon on BitGet. They've got pre-trading going on, so I wanted to do some research and get this podcast out for you guys so that you could learn more about what this sign protocol is. I grabbed everything about their website from their docs, and I grabbed everything from their Airdrop Pro table docs here, and I went over to their docs for setting up a trustless network. And I brought all of that into a Google LM instance so that I could create a knowledge base and ask the AI to give me more information about the project. I also went out to YouTube and I brought in a bunch of different YouTube videos about the project. And then I asked the LM to give me the overview of the project, the problem that it aims to solve, the benefits that it's going to provide, and explain how users, developers, and investors might make money from this project if you got involved. I put together a few different information pieces, and I've gathered them together as a PDF that you can click on down below the video. And I also pulled together all of this information into a podcast that's going to follow here so that you can follow along, learn everything about Sign Protocol and what it sets up to do. And I think this is going to be a very interesting project to watch in the long run. Let's check out the podcast.
It feels like online, figuring out what information you can really trust is becoming, well, a bigger and bigger challenge.
Definitely.
We're constantly bombarded with claims, and having a reliable way to verify things, that would be a game changer. And that's where our deep dive today takes us into the world of Sign Protocol.
Right.
It's an Omnichain attestation protocol aiming to bring exactly that on-chain verification for, well, just about any kind of information.
That's right. In today's digital world, it's so easy to just say something,
Yeah.
So having a system where you can independently check information right there on the blockchain, that's a powerful shift.
Okay.
Sign Protocol is designed so users can both make and check claims in a structured way, transparently. And that's really fundamental these days.
And what's really bringing Sign Protocol into focus for us right now is the upcoming listing of their token, SIGN, on BitGet.
Ah, yes, listing. Big news for them.
Exactly. So our mission today is to unpack what this protocol is all about, what the token does, and, how it might be relevant to you.
Whether you're a user, a dev, or maybe just watching the crypto space.
Especially with this BitGet listing happening. We've gone through some YouTube talks from ETH Global, Alpha Drop, Crypto 101.
And the official docs too, right? Sign Protocol, token table.
Yep, pulled it all together to give you the key info.
Okay, so let's start with the core concept, attestation. What is that in Sign Protocol terms?
Good question.
Think of it like structured data that can be verified on a blockchain.
Okay.
It's basically a trustworthy, transparent record of some kind of claim or statement.
Like a digital notary? Is that a fair analogy?
Yeah, you could sort of think of it like that, but, with the extra security and permanence of the blockchain baked in.
Gotcha. So instead of just taking someone's word, there's this verifiable blockchain record. Now, you mentioned Omnichain earlier. What does that actually mean here?
Great point. Omnichain just means it's not stuck on one single blockchain.
Oh, okay. Sign Protocol operates across, well, a whole bunch of different chains.
Yeah.
Last we checked, it included Base, Ethereum, Polygon X1, OPBNB, lots of others. Solana, TON, even Aptos are mentioned.
Wow, that's quite a list.
Yeah. And this multi-chain thing, it increases its reach, allows for better interoperability. An attestation on one chain could potentially be checked or used on another.
That sounds like it makes it way more useful. So what's the fundamental problem Sign Protocol is trying to solve with these attestations?
The main problem, it's just getting harder and harder to verify claims, especially online.
True.
We see so much stuff, right? Hard to know what's real, what's credible. Sign Protocol is aiming for a future where important claims are actually backed by these verifiable attestations.
So less just trust me.
Exactly. Less reliance on blind trust, more on verifiable proof.
Okay, and how do they actually do that? What's the tech involved?
It's a mix of things. Obviously, decentralized blockchains are the foundation. That gives you the secure, tamper-proof ledger.
Then they use decentralized storage, like IPFS or Arweave, for the actual data behind the attestations.
Why store it separately?
Well, storing large amounts of data directly on-chain, especially on Ethereum, can get expensive.
Oh.
So using something like Arweave is really cheap for storage, permanent too. But Interacting with that data directly from an EVM smart contract needs some specific handling.
Makes sense. What else?
Digital signatures are key, of course, to ensure authenticity, and you might also hear about zero-knowledge cryptography potentially playing a role.
For privacy. Verifying without revealing everything.
Exactly, allowing verification without necessarily exposing all the underlying sensitive data.
Okay, cool. Now, another term I saw was schema. What's a schema?
The schema. Think of it as the blueprint, the template for the data.
A blueprint.
Yeah. If you want to attest to something specific, like say I attended this conference,
Yeah.
you'd first define a schema for conference attendance. That schema would lay out exactly what data points need to be included, like the event name, the attendee's wallet address, maybe the date.
So it standardizes the information.
Precisely. It gives it a structure so everyone knows what the data means and how to read it.
So the schema is the structure, and the attestation is the actual data fitting that structure, recorded on-chain.
You got it. The attestation is the specific instance, the real data, following the rules of a particular schema.
And there are roles involved, like an attester.
Right. You usually have the attester, that's the person or entity making the claim, providing the info, and the recipient, that's who the attestation is about.
Okay, that clicks. So let's talk benefits. What practical problems does this solve?
Well, think about proving you went to an online workshop to get some special access later.
Yeah, how do you usually do that? Screenshot, hope the organizer remembers.
Right. It's often flimsy. With signed protocol, the organizer could just issue a verifiable attestation directly to your wallet. Much harder to fake. One source called the current situation, sometimes half attestations, you claim something, but there's no real way to back it up.
Like saying you met someone famous, but having no proof.
Exactly. Signed protocol allows for stronger proof, maybe needing multiple attestations or input from trusted sources to really confirm something.
So it moves beyond just saying it's true to providing cryptographic proof.
Precisely. And that opens up a ton of uses.
Wow.
Verifying your degree or a professional certificate.
Much harder to forge.
Right. Confirming you were at a business meeting, documenting agreements immutably. It could streamline so many things that rely on trust or slow manual checks now.
Reduces fraud, maybe increases efficiency too.
That's the idea. It feels like a foundational layer for building more trustworthy digital interactions.
Now, I heard the team behind Sign Protocol also built some apps using this tech.
Yes, they did. Good way to showcase what's possible. There's F-Sign.
F-Sign.
Yeah.
Sounds like e-signatures.
Exactly. A decentralized platform for electronic signatures. You sign documents on chain, creates that verifiable, auditable trail.
So like DocuSign, but with blockchain security.
Kind of, yeah. Offers similar functions, but with that added layer of blockchain transparency and security.
Interesting. Any others?
They also have Token Table. That's more like a set of tools for handling on-chain token stuff, airdrops, vesting schedules, token unlocks.
Managing token distribution securely.
Right, using smart contracts to make those processes simpler and more secure. It also uses signed protocol attestations under the hood for certain things.
Okay, so they're using their own protocol to build useful tools.
Eating their own dog food, as they say.
Right. Okay, so we've got a good handle on Sign Protocol itself. Let's pivot back to the news we mentioned up front, the CyGN token listing on BitGet.
Yes, the BitGet listing. That's definitely a significant step for them.
Why is it significant?
Well, listing on a major exchange like BitGet makes the CyGN token much easier for people to access and trade, increases liquidity, visibility. It's a common milestone projects aim for.
Makes sense. Okay, and speaking of BitGet, this feels like a good moment to mention something special for you, our listeners. Midway through our deep dive here, we wanted to let you know you can get lifetime savings, 20% off your trading fees on BitGet.
That's a pretty sweet deal.
It is. Just use our special referral link, BitGet Deal. It's right there in the show notes for easy access. Lifetime 20% off.
Nice. Okay, so beyond the listing itself, people are probably wondering, how could I potentially benefit from Sign Protocol or the CyGN token?
Good question. Let's break that down. Maybe start with regular users, people not necessarily coding or investing heavily.
Okay, for users, one possibility could be rewards through ecosystem engagement.
Like that campaign you mentioned.
Yeah, the Orange Dynasty one. They gave out soulbound tokens, SBTs, for interactions, and there were hints these might, become actual CyGN tokens later.
So participating could lead to an airdrop or something similar.
Potentially, yeah. It's a way projects incentivize early adoption. Also, just using the apps built on Sign, like ETHSign for secure signing, provides direct user benefits through better trust and verification online.
So using the tools and maybe joining community initiatives.
Right. As the ecosystem grows, the value you get from using those sign-powered apps should increase too.
Okay. What about developers? If someone listening builds dApps, what's the draw?
For developers, Sign Protocol is like a powerful new toolkit. It lets you build apps that rely on verifiable data.
What kind of apps?
Oh, lots of possibilities. On-chain reputation systems, maybe? Gated access prove you own an NFT or completed a course to unlock something, proving real-world events happen.
Like proving attendance. We talked about that.
Exactly. It's infrastructure for building trust-based dApps. Plus, Sign Protocol seems keen on supporting devs.
How so?
They have things like the Syncs Hackathon Builder Program offering grants, recognition for projects building on Sign.
Ah, incentives.
Yeah. And there's even a thought that if you create a really useful schema that lots of people start using for attestations, that itself could become valuable somehow.
Interesting. Like creating a standard data format that catches on.
Kind of, yeah. Building the valuable data blueprints for this verifiable web.
Okay. And finally, investors. What's the angle for them regarding the SideGene token?
From an investor perspective, it often comes down to adoption, right? If Sign Protocol sees growing more users making attestations, more developers building on it, that increased activity could drive demand for the SideGene token.
Leading to potential price appreciation.
That's the general thesis for many protocol tokens, yeah. More utility, more demand.
And maybe investing in projects using Sign Protocol.
That's another angle. If apps built on Sign become successful in their own right, that could indirectly benefit the underlying protocol and its token, too.
Makes sense. But, of course,
standard disclaimer applies. This isn't financial advice. Always do your own deep research. Understand the risks before investing in anything crypto.
absolutely crucial. Okay, so if people are intrigued and want to learn more, maybe get involved, where should they go?
The official website is the best starting point, sign.global.
Sign.global.
Got it. And their documentation is at docs.sign.global. That's where you find all the technical details we touched on.
Docs are key.
Definitely. And I'd also suggest playing around with app.sign.global.
What's that?
It's their platform where you can actually see how schemas work, how attestations get created and verified. It gives you a hands-on feel.
Ah, trying it out yourself. Good idea.
For sure. Developers should really dig into those docs and maybe check out that Syncs Builder program we mentioned.
Right.
And if you just want to see attestations happening on-chain, there's the SignScan Explorer, signscan.io.
Like Etherscan, but for sign attestations.
Pretty much, yeah. Lets you browse what's being recorded.
Cool. So lots of resources out there.
Plenty to explore. And hey, if you found this deep dive useful,
definitely subscribe to the channel. We do these explorations into interesting blockchain projects regularly.
don't miss out.
So wrapping up, Sign Protocol is clearly tackling a really important problem for the digital age, that need for verifiable trust.
It really is.
Their approach, using blockchain, being Omnichain, and now this upcoming SideGene token listing on Bidget, definitely makes it a project to watch.
Agreed. The potential to verify information reliably and decentrally, that could genuinely change how we interact online in many ways. Sign Protocol is building tools for that future.
Well, thanks for joining us for this deep dive into Sign Protocol. Hope you found it insightful.
Yeah, hope it was helpful.
Until next time.